Hello everyone, today I wanted to talk to you about the link between gut health and mental health. So there's a number of studies out there now showing the link between gut health and mental illness. So it's been linked with things like anxiety and depression and a number of other mental illnesses as well, actually. So what's actually happening there? So I'd say there's two main things. So if there's inflammation or dysbiosis in the gut, that has been linked to different forms of mental illness. So inflammation is anything that really stirs up an immune reaction in the body. And then dysbiosis is actually an imbalance of good and bad bacteria in the gut. So what causes inflammation and dysbiosis? Well, I'll give you probably the big three. So the first one would be stress. So when you're stressed, all your blood or a lot of your blood goes out to your periphery. So like your musculoskeletal system, like you're going into fight or flight, right? So all your blood oxygen is going to that musculoskeletal system and not as much is actually getting into the digestive system. So that can happen more on a little bit more of a chronic level. So that's the first one, stress. Second one would be food sensitivities. So if you're sensitive to a certain food, and the classic is gluten, then that can cause inflammation in the gut and a little bit of dysbiosis as well. The third one I would say, or the third main one, is processed foods. So what's a processed food? An example would be, savory snacks, processed sugar, a lot of different types of breads out there, crisps, donuts, those kind of things. Now, when I say these things, people start to hate me. So if you haven't turned off the video yet, let's keep diving in, okay? But I'd say they're the main three: stress, food sensitivities, and processed foods. So when there's inflammation in the gut, your gut is intimately linked with your brain in one specific way in particular, called the vagus nerve. So it goes through your gut, goes through different organs and then into your brain. So if your gut is inflamed, that can send a little bit of an inflammation response through the vagus nerve, which is connected with a few different parts of your body, including your brain. That's the first thing around inflammation. Dysbiosis, well, that may actually impede your ability to produce something called serotonin, which is a chemical which has been linked with mood stabilization. So depending on what you read, around about 90 to 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. And then there's around about 2% in your brain connecting, it's a neurotransmitter, so it's moving around the brain sending messages. So if you've got some dysbiosis or inflammation in the gut, actually, that can impede your ability to produce enough serotonin, which is actually a mood stabilizer. It also helps with digestion, metabolism, and a number of different functions. Now, so if you're struggling with some kind of mental illness, albeit anxiety, depression, or anything else, that can actually also lead to poor food choices. So it can be a little bit of a chicken and egg scenario, where if your mental health struggling, that can lead towards poorer food choices. Yet if you're pretty good mental health, but you're having poor food choices, that can then lead to different kinds of mental health. So it's a little bit of a chicken and egg scenario. So what I'd recommend is that you just slowly peel back different things you can do to slowly improve your digestion, whether it be just reducing some of the things I mentioned. And if you wanted to address stress from a mental health perspective, you can look at things like a regular stress management practice. Everyone's got their own choice on that. So it can be like journal writing, meditation, talking it out with a close group community can be really helpful. Or you can engage in a mentor coach as well. So hopefully that's helpful. A few little tidbits in there for you. And I basically just wanted to cover the fact that mental health and gut health can be interlinked or heavily interlinked. And it can also be a little bit of a chicken and egg scenario where you've kind of got to get a little bit of both sorted to start to make some really good traction. And my advice would be to just make one change at a time that's not too overwhelming, or you can engage in some help as well if you like. All right, hopefully that was helpful. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.